All right, welcome. Thank you, guys. It is another wonderful day, and I am doing the number one podcast where we document and discuss and explore the journey of being no one all the way to number one. So, yeah, man, hope you guys are doing good today. I'm going to keep it brief. I got a lot of stuff to do, per usual. As ever, if I can help you in any way, I am here for you. So please, hey, what's up, John? Good to see you, brother. Give you a wave. What's up, man? If you guys want to say something, you want to talk, I want to talk about time. I want to talk about the role of time in our lives. It's very weird because we only live in the present. And we're so ingrained in the modern world with this concept of time, of the future and the past, which neither exist. So, it's interesting, right? And there's I can't remember how the phrase goes. I'm gonna have to look it up, but let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. It's a great quote that I wanted to discuss from a guy named Claude Shannon. And let's see, I am looking it up right now, so I appreciate your patience with me. Okay, so I'm not going to find it, damn it. Basically, it's like we know the past but can't control it. We can control the future but don't know it. Right? We can know the past but can't control it. We can control the future but cannot know it. Does that make sense? So, time is this weird thing that we all have to deal with all the time. And yet, I don't know how many of us really have a full grasp on it, right? So, excuse me, the Stoics had this phrase, memento mori. And you'll see it sometimes printed on rings or on seals. And it means remember death. Okay. So the other day I had you guys write out a grid with 80 boxes in it. Okay. Had 80 boxes. You can do this yourself right now if you like. Just slice it up, 8 by 10, create 80 boxes. Okay. And what I want you to do is I want you to go through those 80 boxes. Just make an 8 by 10 grid on a piece of paper and go through. There's 80 of them. I want 80 little boxes. You can do this in Excel. Okay, like just make a box around 80 cells. And I want you to go through, and at the end of the box in the lower right, knock off 2 or 3 of those. So now you only got 77 or 78 boxes left. Then, starting at the upper left, I want you to fill in the number of boxes that correspond with your age. If you could do it with, you could do color fill or take a marker. Here, I'll show you mine. I did one myself. And it's very telling, especially, this idea of memento mori. So here's mine. Okay. So these are the years I've lived. It'll be 49. So I'm almost at 49, right? And the white spaces, based on actuarial tables, people who study the odds of your living, life insurance people mostly because they got skin in the game. Typical age, at least for an American male, is 78. So that shows you that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. Like 28 or something like that years left to get everything done. Remember death. That's what memento mori means, right? So that you can remember that the sand in the hourglass is running out. But why? Why remember death? And we're all going to die. Every single one of us is going to die. So what's the big deal? Why not just be the Buddha and go sit under a tree and meditate until it happens? I mean, that is the question, right? I mean, I guess it all depends on what it is that you want to get out of your life. What is it that you want to get out of your life? Do you have certain things that you want to do? Given that, as far as we know, we only get a certain amount of time. What do you want to do? What do you want to do with that time? I'm asking you. What do you want to do with the remaining boxes that you have left? What is your purpose? So that when you're laying in the hospital bed, dying of something, or in your house, or wherever you die, hopefully after living a nice long life, what do you want to look back on? Do you want kids? Do you have kids? If you have kids, do you want to look back and you yelling at them constantly? Or do you want to look back and have fantastic relationships with them, confident in the knowledge that you did everything you could to make sure that they move forward in life and have, a successful life, that you were able to help them? So time, and we talk, a lot of people talk about time management. So this is something, I'm just kind of a type A type of person. I'm very, very productive. Okay. I keep very, very busy. So, for me, my schedule is packed from usually around like 8 a.m. Usually is when I really start my schedule. Usually most nights I'm going until about 9 or 10. So I do a 12-hour day. Now 14, I guess that's a 14-hour day. So I usually do about a 14-hour day every day. Working. And you'll see I take vacations. That's the great thing about working that much, is I'm able to take some vacations here and there. And I've made shifts so that a lot of the things that I enjoy are where I make my money. So that's nice. So it sounds awful. Oh my God, you work 14 hours a day. Okay, well, so let's look the other day. The last 3 hours were coaching catch as catch can wrestling to a bunch of up and coming grapplers and professional wrestlers. That was a great way to spend my day. I got paid. They found immense value in what I was offering. 3 hours, fantastic. Prior to that, I cooked a nice spaghetti and Italian sausage dinner for my wife and my kids. Picked up the kids from school. Prior to that, what's up, Stu? Man, we got Spain in the house. Holy shit. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. I miss you. Hope to see you soon one of these days. Anyway, packed. Went to go see a new business associate, see his facility, closed a deal, all that kind of stuff. Just living the dream, brother. Living the dream. Stuart out in Spain said, "What's up, man?" So that's my answer. I hope Spain is treating you well. I hear it's beautiful, very comparable to Southern California. So hope you have a great time out there. How long are you planning on staying? Are you just like now permanently Spanish? Anyway, I hope to see you soon, or bring us out so we can get some catch wrestling out in Spain going. That would be fantastic. So, I want to keep this on time. And so one of the things I think that's crucial is the realization that time is finite, right? We're all going to die. And we don't know when. It's uncertain. Okay? So some of the ways that we measure that is like I did earlier with this thing with the boxes. You can look at an actuarial table, see when the average American male or female is going to die, and measure that against yourself and say, okay, cool. Stuart says, yeah, it's beautiful out here. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, give me a date. Let's go, dude. Let's set something up for let's do something out in I don't know, fall. Bring me and Sam, or me and Luis, Maybe bring Luis because he speaks Espanol. Uh, anyway, like so, you've got to understand the finite nature of the amount of time that we have on the planet. Okay, so if let's make it happen, brother. Let's please. I'd love to get out there. I've never been to Spain. Been to Italy and Europe, I'm sorry, Italy and England in Europe, but not Spain yet. So that'd be great. But once you know that there's a finite amount of time and you have a random estimate as to how many years you have left, okay? So I have probably 28, 29 years left to get done what I want to get done, right? Now, what are my goals? Now, I would prefer to hit my target and then re-up my goals and then hit that target and re-up my goals and keep blowing up. And the quicker I could do that, the better. So I have a certain set of goals right now. For example, I've been talking about it the last couple of days. I'm really excited about it. My affiliate program for fight gyms, right? It's called scientificwrestler.com. And it's basically a way that you can create your own catch as catch can club and actually start making money. This is something I've done for 20 years. And now I'm basically putting a business in a box around something I love for those people that have a shared set of values and love the same thing. I want to show you what I've done and how to do it. And not only that, you don't have to recreate the wheel. You could resell all the stuff that I've already created and make money with it. The same amount of money that I make. I'm giving you the same deal that I get on this. It's a killer deal. Anyway, so I'm really happy about it. I'm really excited. And it's part of my larger goal, which, holy crap, it's a big one. The larger goal is to get every man, woman, and child on planet Earth involved with the sport of catch as catch can wrestling through scientific wrestling as either a fan, athlete, coach, or promoter. Okay? That's 8 billion people. That's huge. I can't do that on my own. So I need help for other people that see value in that mission to join me on the mission. Okay? That's my mission and vision. Now, part of that is this scientific wrestler program. My immediate target, now I'm not 8 billion people, that'd be a hell of a lot of affiliate gyms. I don't know. Take 8 billion and let's say you could fit 1,000 in one gym through rotation, like you have a really good gym and the gym has 1,000 members. That's still 8 million gyms to reach 8 billion people. That's a huge undertaking. I'm starting smaller to begin with because we just launched the program. You can check it out. Go to Scientific Wrestler, not wrestling, wrestler, scientificwrestler.com. Go there. Okay. It has all the details, how you can earn your return on your investment, what comes with it, all that stuff. My immediate goal is the offer is that you get this entire whole deal. You could be an affiliate, and for the first 8 people, it's $8,000 one time, and then a $500 a year maintenance fee. For those of you who are aware of how affiliate offers work, that's an incredible deal. Okay, and then the way I've structured it, the best return on investment in the business period. That said, that's the first 8. Then after the first 8, up to 100, it's 10,000. So I'm just giving the first 8 a $2,000 early adopter bonus for helping me get the kinks worked out, that kind of thing. So I'm giving you a $2,000 easement. Okay. We've already had 3 of those go. There's only 5 left. So I'm on my way. Not bad, right? For the first 6 weeks. So, we can extrapolate. If I'm doing, let's see. Okay, so that's 1 every 2 weeks. Now my goal is to hit 100. That's my immediate target. Okay, so this is how I'm going to do my time management, figure out my goal and figure out how to accomplish it given the constraints of time, right? So if I want 100 and I do 2 a week or at 1 every 2 weeks, It's going to at that rate, it's going to take me 2 years. My goal is to reach 100 affiliate gyms. Ideally, I'd like to do in a year. That is absolutely nuts. That would mean I'd have to do about 2 a week. Okay. So I'm going to have to speed up my shit. Now, I think that's totally doable because once I know that I need to hit 2 of these people a week, I know that I have an idea of how many people I need to contact. Okay. So let's say that we can do all this math right here. So I need 2 people a week. Okay. Of qualified people. And let's say, I go and I get a list of all the fight gyms. Supposedly there's 40,000 in the country. Okay. So I need to figure out how am I going to hit 40,000 fight gyms in the United States in a year. So if that's 40,000 divided by 52 weeks, that means I need to hit 769 gyms every week. And you can divide that by 7. That means 109 a day. Okay? It's a lot. It's a lot. Now, let's assume I do that. Okay? You could do it. 109 calls. Dude, I used to cold call about 250 people a day back in the day. So this is totally doable when I get the list, right? So now, let's look at this. 40,000. Now, let's say out of those 40,000 martial arts dojos and fight gyms and everything all around the country, let's just say out of 40,000, only 2%, let's even go down smaller, only 1% respond positively and make a purchase of my offer. So I'm going to multiply 40,000 times 1%. That's 400. That's 4 times my goal. Okay. So that tells you if it was, what was it? It was 100 and let's just say it was 100. For easy calculation here, it was 100 people a day I had to reach to hit all 40,000. That means I only have to hit 25 to hit my goal. 25 calls a day. Totally doable. Totally doable. Right? So, anyway, guys, you got to break it down. Time is so weird because there is the objective measure of time, which is actually not objective, but I mean, if you had a stopwatch. But, Richard Feynman, who just had a birthday, famous American physicist, was able to calculate that the age of the sun on the surface of the sun is a number of months older than the core. And it's the same with the Earth, right? So if you go out in outer space and you're orbiting the Earth and you have a twin, both born the same time, the one orbiting, when he comes back, he's going to be older than the one on Earth. Now, only by probably seconds or whatever, but the more distance, right? Anyway, don't want to get into physics, but, time is not really objective. Even when you measure it with a clock, it's relative. That was Einstein's big spiel, right? About the relativity of time. That it's relative to your speed. Yeah, time dilation. Thank you, Stuart. That's a great thing about having smart friends, man. They know all this shit. So, that's one concept, is this idea of relativity based upon your velocity and where you are in position to the other person measuring time. So time is not fixed. But that's only one thing. Then there's kind of the idea of I can't remember who it was that comes up with this concept, but it's this idea of duration, right? I think it was Henri Bergson who came up with this idea of this very subjective. Now, and Einstein even addresses this. He says, So I'm totally fucking up the quote, but the idea is the same. And he's like, a minute spent with a pretty girl versus a minute spent in excruciating pain. The pretty girl time goes like that, whereas the pain time seems to go on longer, right? So there is also this idea of personal time or duration, this Bergsonian idea, right, of time. I think that's important to understand. This is why people say, slow down. And I think they've done some sort of study in animals that those animals with faster metabolism, like mice, hummingbirds, they experience time slower than us because they're moving faster, right? So I guess it is relativity in a way. But my point is this: if you have goals, again, mine is huge, to get every person on the planet involved with the sport of scientific wrestling is either a fan, athlete, coach, or promoter. That's 8 billion people. So that's a huge task. I was able to hit 40,000 gyms in a year if I make 400 or however many calls a day. I can't even remember what the numbers were. So there's a connection that you do have to factor in some measure of time, right? Because as squirrely as time gets, when you really start looking at it closely, you can start to understand that regardless, I think the ultimate measure is your own life. And it's uncertain how long any of us will live. I mean, look at all these people all of a sudden since 2020. Put on your tinfoil hat so you don't have to. It's totally not even tinfoil, man. Life insurance companies are shitting right now because everybody's dropping like flies from hemorrhages and myocarditis and hepatitis, problems in the liver now ever since 2020. So, yeah, interesting times. So you don't know when you're going to drop. You can get hit by a bus. I mean, fucking meteor, man. The dinosaurs. I mean, I don't even know if dinosaurs really had a conception of time, but there's an end. There's an end to this experience. This ever-changing now. So, one of the best definitions, philosophically speaking, the ways I've ever heard time defined is that time is a measure of change. Okay, so it's a way to measure change. Right? So how much change do you want to be a part of? Do you want to be the Buddha and just sit under a tree? I mean, it's best to at least have a clue and know. Oh, we got a comment, I think, off of, where is it? Oh, YouTube. Oh, hey, what's up, dude? You jumped off of off Instagram onto YouTube. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, on the YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, I can you can see graphics, whereas you can't really see the graphics on Instagram. I don't know why they can't integrate Instagram. It's owned by Facebook. I could do it with Facebook. I don't know what the deal is. It seems relatively simple. But anyway, happy to see you here. Glad to see your name too. Nice to meet you, Sam. Welcome to the show. So, what is it that you want to do? Do you know? Have you ever sat down with a pen and paper? And how much time are you wasting? So, is that really, can you waste time? Is that possible to actually waste time? When you think philosophically about things, there's far more questions than answers. But I think it's important because it at least gets you thinking. And maybe you can apply and make some changes in your own life, right? So, myself, for the longest time, man, I'll tell you, I wasted time being a consumer of social media. I wasted a long time just smoking fucking pot and chilling out and being zoned out. Okay. Wasted a lot of time not doing anything. Hey, what's up, Josh? Good to see you, brother. Welcome, welcome. Happy to see you. So I wasted all this time. Now, I think there are reasons, there are contingent reasons why sometimes that happens to us. I don't think I don't think you should get down on yourself and have, some sort of scolding conversation with yourself about it. In my case, I was raising my kids, and that was one of the things that I wanted to do so that when I am on my deathbed and I'm looking back on my life, I know that I was actually there and involved, and I wasn't at a desk and I wasn't or doing something else, that I was actually involved with raising my kids. That was something very important to me, to be there. Because, and a lot of these things are, reflections of our own experiences and things that happened to us. I was a latchkey kid growing up and an only child. I had a very, very lonely childhood. And so I wanted to actually be present with my kids and be in part of their life, so that I develop a real strong relationship with them. But because of that, there's an opportunity cost. If you do one thing, you can't do something else most times, right? If I take a right turn, I can't turn left. So I miss out on everything that was on the left side of the street, but I get to go down the right side if I so decide. That's opportunity cost is what it's called in economics, which is a simple choice. But I think the idea of opportunity cost is that you're making more aware of the concept that you're missing out on something in order to pursue something else. So for me, I took about 7 or 8 years off. I still kept my other businesses going, but I wasn't full blast. I was just hanging out with my kids and honestly smoking a lot of pot because it makes me a better parent. I'm going to be real. I listen to them. I calm down. I'm more likely to laugh and have a good time with them. Still 100% responsible. But I realized as they started getting older and as I'm starting to get older, okay, I need to, excuse me, I need to kick it up here. I have some other goals. I've done what I wanted to do. I was able to spend this time with my kids. And now I have some other shit I want to get done. So I went back to the drawing board. I wrote out these big goals. And that's part of the reason why I do this fucking podcast every day. Right? So, when I was younger, when was that? Maybe about 10 years ago, I had a radio show on the third oldest talk radio station in the country, K-Talk, out in Utah. And I did a daily two-way live talk radio show. It was a fantastic experience. Weird as fuck, but super duper. I loved doing it. It was fantastic. And it was like this. But it was distracting me from my duties as a parent. And to be honest, because I was dealing with politics, which this was a lesson learned. I didn't know that. I, was young and idealistic and thought that I could change the world via political bullshit, and realized that that's just a giant cesspool, and I wanted nothing to do with it. So I ended up quitting and then redevoting myself to being a family man, right? Well, once I made the decision, hey, okay, I've spent my time doing that. I feel happy. I decided, man, I need to start making an impact again. Okay. And the best ways that I feel I can make a change that's not political is teaching people, helping people. Okay. So one of them is grappling. I've been very fortunate, very blessed to be in this position where I made the decision years ago to study and document and share, to study, document, and share the the journey learning from the very world's greatest grapplers and wrestlers, wrestling-based grapplers that I possibly could. That's what scientific wrestling is truly about. It's a crowd-funded documentary experience to share grappling literacy. How's that sound for a bunch of bullshit? But that's really what it is if you put all the prestige jargon on it. So I was very lucky. So now I'm in a position as I'm older and I'm all fucked up and injured, I could coach like my mentors and coaches did for me. I feel like that is the phase that I'm entering now as I reach 50. Okay. So because of that, I want to make as big of an impact, especially because I feel a sense of duty because I did train with the fucking best, like mind-blowing best. And I did a goddamn excellent job synthesizing, recording, integrating, and then being able to, because I'm a very good learner, teach and present and transfer the knowledge to other people to keep it going. I have a duty to do that. So I want to impact as many people as I can. Okay? Because the more people I impact, the more likely that information will continue to propagate. Right? So remember, while we can know the past, we can't control it. And while we can control the future, we can't know it. That's the position we're in. We can look back and not change anything, so what the fuck, but you can learn from it. And you can look forward to control it, but you have zero knowledge as to what's going to happen. Now you have some knowledge because the immediacy of now, the closer things get to the now, the more likely they are to be close to the now in terms of conditions, right? This is like in math, one of the things we had to do when I was doing like time series data is like a weighted average. So you weight more recent data heavier, make it more relevant than stuff in the past. Now, it's not 100%, right? Because there's shocks to the system, as Talib calls them, black swans, right? These odd occurrences that you cannot predict, that by definition, unpredictable. You can't predict the unpredictable. So you just do the best you can and you soldier on. But when you know the past, you can review it. And so I know what I've done in the past. I've accomplished a lot of great things. I do feel that I have built a legacy that if I were zapped by lightning, knock on wood, that won't happen, but that my name and my efforts and my ideas will continue on for at least a couple generations. I do believe that. You know, I helped develop a model reverse mortgage prepayment rates that's still in use today. So now I may not get credit for that, but I still have comfort knowing that my idea is still affecting the world and will affect the world for some time to come because it's math. It's not technology, which can change, right? The mace bell and mace strength training. I think that's going to continue. Okay. Now, I'm sort of a link in a chain on that, right? Because the Hindus were doing it. And one of my mentors, Carl Gotch, brought it to the West. And others have, but Carl really used it and was promoting it. But when I got involved, I decided, let's make this marketable to a much bigger scale. Let's make it out of a product that people are more likely to buy for working out because they're used to steel. And let's update and create new exercises and modalities so that it's interesting and relevant for modern people, right? And let's create a culture that allows for experimentation and open source development of the protocols. These were all things that I did by design. And now it's like fucking everywhere. I'm so happy. And my new goal is to do that with Catch as Catch Can Wrestling, with Scientific Wrestling, like my company, which is the undisputed leader, been around 20 years now, a whole load of number ones, hence the name of the podcast. I think it's important to be first in a lot of ways, different ways, not just in contests, but in planting a flag, being the first to do something, innovation. I very much value the idea of innovation. So anyway, what are you doing and what are your goals? And given the amount of time, best guess that you have, how are you going to actually accomplish that? So it's not just a dream. It's not just a fantasy. It's not just a wish. What's up, Alive and Fighting? 100%. All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. Good to see you. So, guys, I'm not going to belabor this point, and I'm going to jump off here in a second because after this, I have to study social media marketing, and then I'm taking my kids to go see Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness for the second time. Anyway, I appreciate you guys always popping in like this, and I appreciate the time I get to spend with you. And what this is really is just philosophy. It's just bullshit and talking about the nature of reality and the nature of thought and what we should do with that, given this strange experience of being human. So, what I would recommend is, people talk, I generally like the word time management. Some people are critical of that term, but I think, it's important to start thinking about the how do you say it? The finitude? The fact that there's an end to all of this, experientially for us, as far as we know. And because of that, do you have a purpose? Do you have something that you want to achieve? Or hopefully it's a whole list of things you want to achieve. And do you take it serious or finite? Thank you so much. Is finitude? How come I had that in my head? I don't know. It's totally not even a word. But finitude? I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why it's in there. But given the fact that we have so much time, you don't want to just make a fucking list to make a fucking list. You don't want to be like sitting in front of a desk chained to it because you have to get a fucking salary. There are other ways of living, right? And sometimes you have to take risks. Risk is what Claude Shannon was really talking about that you can't know the future, but you can control it, right? So, think about like driving before GPS. I know for some of you guys that's fucking impossible. Dude, I used to take road trips in college without even cell phones. Like, you had no way. If you got stranded, you were fucked. You had to just fucking wait until another car came and hope that they stopped, right? So, but think about driving before GPS. You don't know where the roads are going. I mean, there's signs and you can have a map, so you have a general idea, but you don't know where you're going. You just need to keep your eye on the road and stay in the lines, right? So what is it that you're doing with your time? Do you want to go travel? Do you want to spend more time with your family? How are you going to accomplish that? Right? So open up your mind and start thinking of alternate paths to do that. Like I talked the other day, I'm a problem solver by nature. Well, all of us are, but I really define myself that way. And these are every problem has a solution. I firmly believe that. Every problem has a solution. Now, whether you'll get to it in time, like for mods, Enigma or whatever, like that kind of stuff, you may not be able to solve the problem. Catch, man, dude, you got to set better goals, dude. I'm sorry, man. I'm just talking to you as a coach, dude. I like making more money, but you want to sleep with porn stars, dude? That's your big fucking goal, dude. Guess what? Go work your ass off, make $1,000 and pay them, dude. That's done. Now you get, because they fuck for money, dude. This isn't hard. That's an easy goal, and it's weak. Why don't you focus on the money, but get something bigger, something that has meaning, something that moves the fucking needle of the world. Fucking a porn star, dude, that's not hard to do. I'm just telling you. Why don't you think about changing the world somehow, right? Figure out how to do it. I'm not talking about like Thanos, don't like kill half the population. I'm not encouraging that level of that kind of big thinking. I'm talking like, why don't you try to like create something big, change the world in a meaningful way for yourself and maybe other people like you. So things that happen to you don't have to happen to other people, or somehow improve the world as far as best you can, right? Now, money is a means to that. So I have no problem. I think making as much money as possible, I think that's a noble goal. But what you have to understand is that, money is not good or bad, despite what anybody will tell you. It's neither. Money is an amplifier. If you're a douchebag, it will make you a giant fucking douchebag. This is why we see so many people get a lot of money and then just fucking blow it, okay? Because it will amplify your good qualities, but it will amplify your bad qualities, right? So a lot of times, the reason we don't get money is because of our bad qualities. Because the second we get some money, it amplifies that, and then that pulls you away from the ability of making money again. Does that make sense? So, money is just an amplifier. Money can help you collapse time, because money is just value. It's just an expression of what people value. Okay. Now, some people do value porn stars, right? It's a whole industry. People pay for that shit. It's weird to me, but it's a whole thing for people. Okay. I don't understand how they make so much damn money with it, but clearly there's like crazy demand. What's weird to me is it seems like it's everywhere for free too. So it's like, where's the money coming from? It's the strangest thing to me. Anyway, I don't know porn economics, so I'm sure there's an answer to it. Somebody's got an answer to it out there. But, money just is an expression of what people value, right? So the more money you have, the more that you've actually provided something of value to somebody. So okay, I'm glad you asked this question. It's a good question. Is there such a thing as passive income? Well, it depends on how you define the terms passive. Okay, if you want to define passive the way you want to define it, I don't know. Okay, but typically passive income is a concept that differentiates itself from earned income. So earned income is you go, really, it's kind of really a concept that's been firmly created because of taxation and the legal language, right, around it. So, because passive income isn't taxed. Earned income, which is totally fucked up, earned income is taxed. Robert Nozick, brilliant philosopher, rest in peace, Anarchy, State, and Utopia was his big book, has this great passage about the tale of a slave. You can find it on YouTube. And he's like, well, at what point are you a slave and not a slave? Like, if 100% of my labor, somebody taking 100% of my labor is slavery, if you take 90% and I get 10% free time, is that slavery? Still sounds shitty, 90% of your day, right? Okay, what about 50%? You only have to do it 50% of the time. Are you any less a slave? I mean, aren't you still a slave by definition, right? At least 50% a slave. Well, taxes are not consensual. In the same way slavery is not consensual. I mean, you could resist. I'm not going to be a slave, and then whoosh, they nail you or shoot you or fucking genocide your fucking village or your family or whatever if you don't comply. That's not consent. Okay, that's duress. It's the opposite of consent. So, is there such thing as passive income? Yeah, there is. Okay, and so typically passive income would be when you have. This is interesting how it all interconnects, especially with finance and real life living and time. So, earned income is you have a job. And a lot of times that means trading your time and your work. Work is integrated into time. Trading your time for money. But it's not scalable, right? There's only one me and there's only so much time. So anyway, now that's earned income. That would be on your income statement. It's money, cash flow coming in and out. Excuse me, I keep sneezing and coughing. All these allergies are getting to me. But earned income is stuff that you see on your income statement. It's transitory. The second you stop working, boom, that income's gone. Okay. Passive income comes from your balance sheet. Balance sheet is not your job. It's not the income in the way like that. Passive income comes off of your balance sheet because you own something. For example, now you do have to do some labor with these things. Okay. Most times. For example, let's say you got a highly lucrative gig that doesn't require a lot of work, at least in the United States. I can't speak to Europe. Or car washes. Car washes are fucking money. If you get the right location, you can make a lot of money. I've studied this. I've thought about opening a couple. Or vending machines. Okay. Again, location's key. So you own the asset. So you would use, let's say, earned income from your gig, from your day job, and you don't spend it all. So you save some. And then you go and talk to a bank. You say you haven't been an asshole and you got a good credit record. So they feel safe lending to you. So you have enough for a down and the bank will loan you some. And you buy a bunch of vending machines or you buy a car wash. Okay. Now you own that. And people use it. And all you have to do is go refill the soap dispensers and, make sure the machines aren't breaking down. Refill the vending machines. Okay. And it just cash flows. That's passive income. Now, there's many ways to do it. You can invest in the stock market, right? If you buy a large apartment building, passive income. Okay. Now, some of these vehicles, speaking of tax is always and everywhere right now, not in history and not in the future, but right the fuck now where we are, where we live, tax is your biggest expense. Okay? Tax is your biggest expense. So even on your passive income, you're going to be taxed, say, if you hold your money in unless it's inside of something that's tax advantaged, like an IRA or something, but you can't touch it then until you hit a certain age threshold. But stocks and stuff like that, you're going to be taxed on the capital gains and on the returns, like dividends or interest. You're going to be taxed on that. Real estate's better. You can do 1031 exchange, keep kicking that can down the road. So there's certain things. And this is why guys like Bezos and They know how to use debt. They know how to use equity, and they understand the tax code. They just move shit around because they've got enough money to hire experts to help them to do that. Okay, the information's out there. We live in the fucking information age. If you really want to know, you can go find it. So stop fucking acting like you're a goddamn victim. Okay, this is the greatest time in the history of humankind to be able to be in control of your fucking life. It really is. There's no reason people should be bitching, relatively speaking, to what fucking just people a generation ago had to go through. So Catchman B1 asks, so should I do this or buy semis instead of buy a house? Well, I don't know what this is, but if the choice is between buying a semi truck and buying a house, well, I mean, personally, and these are all subjective, so that, it's like you got to do the calculus on your own, based on your own risk tolerance and what you want out of your life. Personally, I'd buy the semis. Why? Semis depreciate. Houses appreciate. Okay, fine. But unless you're going to buy the house and rent it out, then I would say buy the house. Okay? If you're buying the house to live in, I would go with the semis, because the semis are going to cash flow. And then you can use that to buy assets that cash flow. And you could buy semis and you could hire people to drive them and cash flow. Right? You just got to make sure what you spend is less than what you're bringing in. And then you have positive cash flow and a passive asset. Okay. You could get super passive on all that. You just got to get control. Okay. So let's say you want to run a trucking company. Okay. So instead of using the money to buy a house, you buy a couple of trucks. Okay. Well, cool. But just having trucks ain't going to cut it. You're going to have to get clients. And then when you get clients, you're going to have to deliver. So you're going to have to get drivers. And then you're going to have to pay fuel. And then you're going to have to pay maintenance. So you have to figure out, okay, then if you don't want to manage all that, you're going to have to hire somebody to manage them. Do you understand? So that's really why people end up just buying stock. Because they're like, well, listen, I'm just going to let these other motherfuckers do all that work. And they can use my money. And in exchange, they give me a little bit more money than I gave them back. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Because you're not doing any work. Your money's doing the work. Right? So if I were to invest in real estate, which I am invested heavily in real estate, not that I live in, I would suggest you do that, because that's what I do. Okay. All these people, I look at things like Bitcoin and I'm like, okay, it's interesting. It's cool. But look at what happened, dude. It was up to 70,000 and now it's under 30. The last couple of days, it's been teetering around 30. If you bought in at 50, you lost 20 on one Bitcoin. That's shit. That's bad. That's not investing. That's losing. So, I would not, to me, the idea of investment is married to this idea of not just a return of the investment, but a return on the investment. So I definitely want to, if I'm going to put 50 grand in, I want to get 50 grand back. Baseline, period. Otherwise, it's a loss. And I'm not interested in doing that. Now, investing comes with risks. So you could do that. I mean, you could invest in a house, which is, real estate is more millionaires are made through real estate than any other investing vehicle. So it has a great track record. Okay. But that doesn't mean shit won't change. I mean, my mentor, one of my mentors, I have many, and I do try to pick the very best. I'm very picky, dude. If you know me, I don't stand for any bullshit. I'm harsh that way. And so for me to pick a mentor means they've gone through the fucking mill. And Grant Cardone is definitely, I am way deeply, I admire what he's been able to do. And I'm very grateful that he teaches and that he shares. And that's why I teach and share what he does, why I'm certified by him to teach his methods. But that doesn't mean they're not risk-free. So he's very smart. Like, he invests heavily in real estate. That's his thing, right? Way heavy in real estate. And I agree with him by and large, okay? But what if, let's just do a scenario analysis and shit, like crazy shit that happens. So I like the idea of real estate, multifamily unit properties, because we already have 8 billion people and the number keeps going up, okay? So the only thing they aren't making more of is not just time, but land. There's finite time and finite land, and so only so many people. So the value of property should go up, right? Limited supply, increasing demand, price goes up. What if? Let's be Alex Jones for a second. What if there is some evil cabal of corporate government psychopaths that run the planet, and they have in their mind some fucking mass phobia but they control the planet, they control the laws, they control the guns, the jails, all kinds of creepy shit. And what if they want to depopulate? And what if they poison people under the premise of saving them through maybe drinking water or injections or poisoning the food, like modifying things? What if? Well, if you apply your economics hat, simple supply and demand curves, the supply of housing is growing slowly, but not at the rate of the demand while the population is growing. What if the population shrinks? Well, all of those units are going to sit empty, right? So there are risks, and you have to think about these things and weigh them against your own personal worldview. But everything is a bet. This is really, I think, what 20th century physics really brought in is the probabilistic nature of reality. And it just probability was designed to help gamblers. That's the first people who developed probability were gamblers hundreds of years ago. Okay. Then they began to realize, oh, well, shit, this applies statistically to all kinds of stuff. And boom, now we got physics and all these other wonderful things. Okay. But life is a bet. Okay. But the clock is ticking. So what are you going to do with that? Memento mori, remember death. Pick your purpose and your passion and seriously break down how you're going to reach that goal, reverse engineering. If you need my help, man, I'm here to help. That's what I do. Help people reach their goals. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Monday. Take care.